Thank you. Welcome to the March 4th, 2025 Finance Committee meeting. I'd ask the public and staff to turn cell phones to off or vibrate or mute their devices if online. When making public comment, clearly identify yourself. To make public comment online, use the raised hand function online. In person, approach the podium and please turn on the microphone. No additional business will be discussed following completion of this agenda. Clerk, please read the first item.
Number 6A, application licenses and permits. Renewal applications for existing city liquor licenses, retail, restaurant, limited retail, resort, bar and grill licenses, microbrewery, satellite distillery, special malt beverage, and winery permits filed with the city clerk's office.
Staff report.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Kylie Soden, City Clerk. Before you today are the annual license renewal applications. The applications have been reviewed by the City Clerk's Office, Police Department staff, and the Wyoming Liquor Division. As previously mentioned, there's one licensee who did not renew due to closure of the business, and that is the Dog House, and they have a bar and grill liquor license. And then to touch on a question from the last city council meeting, there are currently 6 licenses that are in a park status. Those are the retail liquor license with airport designation for Cloud9 Restaurant and Bar, retail liquor license for Scooters Scoreboard Bar, retail liquor license for the Green Door, retail liquor license for 307 Racing, retail liquor license for 1734 Partners, and the bar and grill liquor license for the Dog House, which is due to the business being closed. And then as a reminder, the public hearing for the Green Door renewal and transfer of location applications will be held at the March 10th City Council meeting. This will allow sufficient time to process the renewal application before it expires, and I can answer any questions you may have.
Any questions, committee?
Mr. Chair,
Go
through
ahead.
you, I had a brief conversation with Dr. Aldrich about the background checks that she wanted to have staff do, and I realized that would have been pretty tedious for us to go through that process. She said she only found one in her research that had violated the selling to underage individuals more than one incident. So I think that part of it's been taken care of. I was curious if there was any updates on anything in the legislature that's related to liquor licenses.
Mr. Chairman, through you to Mr. Escabel, there was a bill that was passed that relates to the resort liquor licenses. And I believe it opens up to perhaps maybe some of our hotels being able to apply for that. So I believe they have kind of lessened the requirements for that. As far as I know, that's the only one.
That's all I had, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Mark, go ahead.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. Just a quick question. How many violations does an establishment have before they're issued a warning by the city?
Mr. Chairman, through you. I believe any violation that is caught by the police department can result in ticketing. I don't know that there is necessarily like first warning, second warning type of situation, but then it would, in terms of how it would affect the renewal, I would have to double check on that for you, see what the state statute says, so I can get that answer for you.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Okay. No further questions. Public comment? It's funny, sometimes there's a lot of public comment over these liquor licenses, but not today evidently. So may I have a motion?
Chairman, I move to approve.
Second.
Moved by Roybal, seconded by Escabel. Any further questions? Hearing none.
Just a statement, Mr. Chairman.
Certainly go ahead.
Having done my due diligence in checking a few of the different taverns and bars and things, I find that they're all running very well. Thank you.
Okay, well, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed? The recommendations for Monday's meeting will to be to approve. Next item, please.
Number 13, resolution appointing successor trustees and designating specified city officers as trustees to the City of Cheyenne Health Benefit Trust.
Good afternoon, Finance Committee, Darren Hass, Human Resources. This resolution is designed to update the specific city officers that function as official trustees to the self-insurance benefit plan, also known as our self-funding account. The original trust agreement that went into effect May 9th, 2022, had initial trustees listed as the former city attorney Stephanie Boster and the previous city council president, our own Mr. Roybal. So now we'd like to add the city attorney, current city attorney John Brody to this trust account and current city council member Dr. Mark Rennie. I stand by for any questions.
Any questions?
No question, Mr. Chair. Through you, the trust, how is it looking?
If I may, through you, Chair, can I refer to Robin? I know we're running real well. The actuarial rate, we're running about 67%. That's premiums divided by claims. We should be closer to 80. Now, we do have 3 large claims that have trickled in that haven't hit that yet, so I'm guessing we're gonna be closer to 75%. But the fund is running well, and Robin may be able to give us a total balance.
And all the people that could get us a drink all left, so.
Robin Glockman, City Treasurer. And as of the end of January 31st, 2025, there was $4.3 million in the fund.
And that's, again, through you, Mr. Chair. What would be, what do we want it to be?
Mr. Chairman, through you, the goal is to have about $8 million in the reserve. We gained just since June 30th of last fiscal year, June of 2024, we had 3.5 million. So in 9 months, we gained about 800,000. So we're
Thank you.
getting there. Sure.
Good.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
through you, Director Haas, that when you say we have some larger claims coming through, or those along the lines of major surgeries or cancer diagnoses and things like that?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair. Yes, one is a cancer. One is a very sick child. And one is also, there's a individual that has an eye issue. Without going into detail, those are the 3 big ones that we are trickling in. We think the cancer one is going to be done, knock on wood. So those are the 3 big ones trickling.
Okay, and then on our wellness programs, what's the percentage of employees that are participating now?
Right now, we have 175 participating. We've got about 55 that have completed it
Okay, so around
with 4 months left to go.
25% of the employees, is that a rough figure?
So you,
20?
Mr. Chair, yeah, roughly, yeah, I'd say roughly 25%. It's really picking up steam with only 4 months left now. There's a lot of anticipation of getting going and getting those requirements turned in.
Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Haas. And I want to mention that we're going to be having our meditation right here in this very room tomorrow at 12:15, and that qualifies for the wellness program. Any questions from the public? Hearing none, can I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move to adopt this resolution.
Second.
Moved by Moody, seconded by Escabel. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Well, the recommendation for Monday night will be to approve. Next item, please.
Number 15B, cooperative agreement between the City of Cheyenne and the Wyoming Department of Environmental Quality for a fiscal year 2024 Clean Water Act, Section 319, non-point source implementation grant to assist in the construction of the Kiwanis Park Trail and constructed wetlands project. Fiscal year 2024 CWA, Section 319 grant.
Staff report, please.
Chairman Laybourne, members of the committee, Jeannie Shrednick, Parks and Greenway Planner. I'll give you a little background on the project. The project will include construction of water quality wetlands, gravel trails, and installation of educational signage within the city-owned Kiwanis Community Park site. The intent is to provide a water quality wetlands feature along a portion of Dry Creek. Dry Creek is a tributary of the Crow Creek watershed. The project will add to existing wetlands and open water on the site, provide gravel trails for the public to view nature and wildlife, and educate the public on the many functions of wetlands and their effect on both water quality and wildlife habitat. The project has been supported by and will be matched with funding from the following: the Kiwanis Club of Cheyenne, $80,000. Cheyenne High Plains Audubon Society, $2,500. The Cheyenne Greenway Foundation for $3,000. The Women's Civic League of Cheyenne for $800. The Laramie County Conservation District for $1,000. And then the City of Cheyenne, $6 for Kiwanis Park purchase and improvements of approximately $185,000. Just to be clear, the current $6 account for the Kiwanis Park is in the realm of $500,000 right now. I wanted to let you know that this project is described in our Parks and Recreation Plan that's currently going through council. A couple of other things about the project. There's going to be a great opportunity for volunteers to plant trees out there, hopefully with working with the Laramie County Conservation District, and potential for a future project. The Kiwanis would like to put some of their money towards a nature play area somewhere in there, but that's not included in this project. We anticipate start of construction in September or October of this year, and completion by July of next year. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Any questions? Hearing none, public comment? Hearing none, could I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve in the amount of $112,904.
Second.
Moved by Escabel, seconded by Moody. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Just a minute, Jeannie. So the recommendation for Monday's meeting will be to approve in an amount of $112,904. And I did want to have a comment as the finance chair. I wish all of our projects had such universal assistance. This really shows how people really want to help, and when this is created and has that connection to the conservation district, it's really going to take us to a new level. I did want to mention as well that I hope we'll see that concrete path come down from Taft through that empty space that we have, that design completed, to connect to these gravel paths so that we are connecting it all up. Thank you.
Thank you. And just to clarify, this is money that is coming to the city.
We know what to do with it.
Very good.
Next item, please.
Number 15C, professional services agreement between the City of Cheyenne and Great Western Installations Incorporated for Optimus Park Playground Design and Installation from CDBG Parks project grant and development impact funds.
Staff report.
Mr. Chair, Jason Sanchez, Community Rec and Events. As described, this is to replace playground at Optimus Park. We have many accessible components in this playground. We'll also be removing the engineered wood fiber surfacing and replacing it with a synthetic turf safety surfacing. The majority of the funding for this project is the CDBG Park Project Fund, with a small amount coming out of our park development impact fees. If we have your approval today and the council's approval on Monday, our anticipated completion date would be at the end of April, first part of May. I will stand by for questions.
Mr. Chairman, Optimus Park is located where?
Mr. Chair, through you, Optimus Park is in Ward 1, just east of Parsley, north of 9th Street.
Okay. I'm just looking at the artist rendering of the playground equipment. When we were kids, it was all just steel bars and concrete. So it's evolved.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
just want to make the comment that this shows a good collaboration between the advisory council. I serve on that board as the city council representative. And our Parks and Rec, there was a couple projects where they weren't able to spend the money, and community recreation and events stepped forward with a couple of projects that qualified for these funds. And just want to give you guys some kudos for working together and accomplishing that.
One last comment, sir. Speaking of kudos, we went to the ribbon cutting at the gymnastics. And I gotta tell you, that place is world class. So you guys did a good job on that.
Thank you for your support.
Public comment, hearing no public comment. Could I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve in the amount not to exceed $299,825.46.
Second.
Moved by Roy Ball, seconded by Moody. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The recommendation for Monday's meeting will be to approve in an amount not to exceed $299,825. Next item, please.
Number 17C, consideration of bid number E-12-25 for as-needed emergency snow control for the Public Works Department from 2023 to 2026 optional 1% sales tax fund.
Staff report.
Vicky Nemechek, Public Works. This is for emergency snow control. There were 3 bidders that responded, and we are recommending that we take accept all 3 bidders. We do use these based on who is the cheapest first. We call those in first. If we need a second contractor, we'll call the second cheapest next, and then the third finally. It is $100,000 per calendar year with a 3-year term for a total of $300,000. That will be paid only if we actually use them. Just to give you an idea of what types of things we do with this money and when we would call in a contractor, our most common reason would be in the downtown area when there's a snowfall that requires the downtown clean and safe folks to push snow to one end of the parking areas along throughout the downtown. There are those piles that remain. If the street and alley folks are not able to get to that, they're still working in the residential areas or on arterials or collectors, they would bring in a contractor to remove those piles. In the worst case scenario, it would be Snowmageddon, that type of thing, that we would bring in all those contractors, probably plus some, to help us to get the city and provide a safe transportation system. Happy to answer any questions.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. Thank you, ma'am. First, I do have couple questions. The first one, is there amount of inches that must be present in order for them to be called out?
Normally, that would be in excess of 4 to 6 inches. However, that could be less if there were a significant wind event that came along with it. It would just depend on the circumstances.
Follow up, Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And then my other question is, who would make the decisions to call them out? Would that be somebody in the department, the mayor?
The Street and Alley Division has the authority to call those contractors directly.
And then, one more follow-up, Mr. Chairman. My last question would be, does this involve any pre-treatment as well too? If there is a potential Snowmageddon, or is this not involve any pre-treatment?
No pre-treatment.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Well, this is a little unusual, but I'd like to call Mr. Sanchez up to discuss this concept that was raised here of downtown snow management. So, Mr. Sanchez, as you're well aware, the adoption of the plan of development recent, or I guess the final adoption, we're there, really calls on a increased effort on the part of Clean and Safe and the Public Works Department to manage those snows and get that snow away from the gutters. Is that your understanding?
Mr. Chair, that is correct.
So I know that this is an imperfect science, and that what we really need to do, and I hope that the new DDA administrator really sinks her teeth into this, is to inform those property owners that they cannot fail to clean their sidewalk, and they should clean their sidewalk into the gutter so that Clean and Safe can move it to the end of the block and then pick it up and take it over here to the area on Happy Jack where we put it. So do you feel confident that the arrangement spelled out in that plan of development is going to be underway here with the next snowstorm?
Mr. Chair, I have a meeting scheduled for this Friday with the new DDA director. And we're gonna work on exactly our sequence of events, when it snows, how much it snows, what time our team would arrive, what time we would ask the business owners to have the snow off the sidewalk. And it's really hard, right? Because city code says that you shouldn't put snow into the city streets, but downtown, there is nowhere else for those business owners to put the snow. So if we're gonna establish a time for them to move that off the sidewalk only, not their parking lots, but off their sidewalks, then as you described, our team would come through, clean up the parking area. Then we reach out to Director Imachek and Director Gonzalez for them to coordinate with their subcontractor to come and remove the piles. So I hope by the end of our meeting on Friday, we have a pretty well thought out and articulated plan. I don't know if we get snow before then that we'll be able to enact everything, but it's a work in progress, and we'll make it work.
Well, thank you. It is a work in progress, and I'm sure this will really be a benefit. And of course, the point being that in many ways, downtown is a special district in taxation, in zoning, and in snow management. So hopefully this will be helpful in getting a snow management plan as the plan of development called for, and keep moving on with the rest of our downtown projects. Thank you. So any public comment? Hearing none, may I have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to accept the bid from S&S Builders, Full Tilt and Knife River in the amount not to exceed $300,000 for a period of 3 years.
Moved by Escabel, seconded by Roy Ball. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The recommendation for Monday's meeting will be to accept the bid from S&S Builders Full Tilt. That's a unique name. And Knife River in amount not to exceed $300,000 for a period of 3 years. So this concludes the agenda for the Finance Committee, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. And don't forget meditation here tomorrow.